Before we used Code Signal, our coding assessment was manually created, and this cost us hundreds of hours of engineering work. With Code Signal, we're able to ask all candidates on. Oh, why do I have to show?
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Sean Butcher back with a brand new video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, share on all my platforms. Read story and these stories are combined. One of the stories I was supposed to do yesterday, I was busy yesterday, so I went through all 8 stories today and have an update on one of our stories. So stay tuned to that. Juvenile is accused of killing a man outside of a Dallas hospital. He's indicted by the grand jury. A man was killed Tuesday, November the 16th of 2021, last year, in a robbery outside Dallas Costco Business Center. 4 teenagers were later arrested and charged with capital murder. A 16-year-old accused of robbing and killing 60-year-old Ali Albano outside of Dallas County last year has been indicted by a Dallas County grand jury. Police said Cameron Range, who turns 17 this month, was the gunman in the armed robbery that took Albano's life. Our partners at KRLD said the grand jury returned indictments of capital murder and 3 counts of aggravated robbery. Last month, Judge Cheryl Shannon of the 205th Dallas County Juvenile District Court certified Range to stand trial for capital murder as an adult. Prosecutors urged at hearing that Range simply was stay in Texas juvenile justice system. Range the severity of the last crime in all history, history, to the age of 12. Shannon ruled from the bench, including the alleged involved the use of a deadly weapon, coupled with Range not responding interventions and being on probation. At the time, allowed the decision to transfer him to an adult court. A trial date not yet been set. If convicted of capital murder, Range will be sentenced to life in prison without parole due to his age. He is not eligible for the death penalty. Albina of Arlington was shot and killed outside of the Costco Business Center on the Prep Lane on November 16, 2021. According to police reports, Albano was loading groceries into his vehicle just before 7 p.m. when he was approached by 4 people who robbed and shot him. Dallas police later arrested 4 people and charges of murder, along with counts of attack. Dallas police said a group affidavit and examples the Shane Miller, along with then unnamed juvenile boy, Ben Rafferty, in the robbery juvenile shot. In the arrest document obtained in November 2021, the 3 adults agreed to waive their rights and talk with detectives without an attorney. Police said each admitted to having committed at least 2 other robberies before the fatal shooting in the Costco parking lot, and that Levels admitted that the gun used in the murder was his. Number 1. Why is there always a female involved in stupidity? The fact that you went with men to commit robberies and a murder is you would rather sit in prison and do a life sentence rather than being with other young women like yourself, conducting yourself as a young woman. But to be fearless, men who commit felonies. And men who don't care about life. You know, this is why it's so important understand. And I couldn't tell that she's like robbery. But if you get caught a robbery and it turns deadly, you because you right with this if convicted. Hang with the wrong person. Cut off um 16 indicted and robberies. 16, you gotta commit all these crimes. Secondly, you kill a father of 5. 16, killing a father of 5. My thing is this. You're gonna have to explain this to his family during trial, sentencing, and all that. You're gonna have to explain why you had to be so ignorant. Why be so ignorant and callous? You know, you don't understand when you kill somebody who they have and who they leave behind. Again, you killed the father of 5. You left 5 enough. It's something for the rest of your life. And to everybody who is involved in the case and who is with the 16-year-old community time, you're gonna have to explain your story. And then why you gotta do what you do. Robberies to go wrong easy. It takes one thing to go wrong. It takes one time to mess up a robbery, and it takes it to murder. So, because it could come and bite you in the ass. Then you're gonna have mothers stand in court talking about how good my children, my son and daughter is. And I'm getting with the father of 5. That tells you that there's something, there's no discipline going on in the household. If there was discipline in the household, 9 out of 10 of them we out here committing crimes. So I ain't blaming the parents, but you know, it's the parenting that's failing these children. Hard parenting is what these children need nowadays. But back then, you didn't see a lot of crimes back then. But in today's day and age, a lot of felony crimes happen. And people are spending the rest of their lives, if not decades, in prison. So think about that. You can mess up your life. It takes more time. Let me make that story, like, comment, subscribe. We go on to our second out of 8 story. Cheektowaga man is arrested for attempting. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, my bad. Itchy throat going on. I was also movie that Cheektowaga for attempting X a 15-year-old. Cheektowaga texting out. The U.S. attorney found that the Cheektowaga arrested for attempting production of child P and attempted online enticement of a child. Authorities said that 35-year-old Mohammed Yudin of Cheektowaga communications with who he believed to be a 13-year-old girl who was actually an undercover FBI child exploitation task force officer. It is alleged that over a period of 3 weeks, Yudin discussed actual activity with who he thought was the child and sent graphic materials. He allegedly attempted to induce the child to send him actuality, expected photos and videos. He formed a plan to meet the child at her Rochester home and took there on into custody. If convicted, let me read that again. If convicted, he faced a minimum of 15 years in prison, a maximum of a lifetime of supervised release, and a $250,000 fine. Let me tell you guys this. I want to tell you the reason why these predators get out of prison so easy and commit their crimes, the same crimes again. If a man, let's go back, in his 30s, to be exact, 35, solicitate or attempted to solicitate a child, who he thought was a 13-year-old girl, by the way, and it was an undercover FBI agent, he's arrested, and if he's convicted, faces 15 years in prison, basically, or a lifetime of supervised release. That's why it's easy for criminals to solicitate minors to just go and do it all over again because them not really time. Nothing is this. He needs to be facing a life sentence. And in Florida, to be exact, Polk County, Florida, there's an officer who in Florida do not play when it comes to this type of crime. And he put away thousands of men and women for doing the same exact crime. And they're doing life imprisonment. So, what it tells you that we need Florida's statute. All 50 states, you commit a crime against a child, it should be an automatic life term in prison. We need to stop slapping these predators with these light sentences. 15 years. So basically, we're going to give an animal 15 years. But yet, the 13-year-old is going to endure this pain for life. So she already going to get a life sentence and have to experience this for the rest of her life. But he get 15 years, which is to me is nothing. That's a slap on the wrist. He could get 15 years. In my opinion, if this been going on for 3 weeks, he needs more than looking at 10 years. He needs to be looking at 25 to life. He needs to be looking at 40 years to life. He needs to be looking at serious time because the next time it could be real. It could be a real actual 13-year-old involved. So I'm saying to the Buffalo Police Department or what is that? Cheektowaga or Rochester Police Department. But I think he was arrested in Rochester. I'm sure he's gonna be extradited back to this indictment in city court by city court. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? If convicted, he faces 15 years. You give an animal abuser 15 years for abusing an animal. You don't give a predator 15 years and think that after 15 years in prison, once he gets out, that he's going to change. Absolutely not. They're not going to change. They're going to continue going out looking for the prey and the victims. They're not going to change. So you're not doing this. You're not doing their victims' family any justice. You're really thinking about yourself, which I think is very petty and sad. You know, he needs to be doing a hell of a lot of time in prison, but that's how the system is broke. Can you say? You know, it's sad, but I hope to get the max beyond 15 years. You need next 30 to 35 years. Like, subscribe. I'm not sure it's real. It's fine. This is called Evil. We got these two parents. This is the story we're going to talk about right here. Parents arrested after 6-year-old boy who was found unconscious with head in the toilet dies. And this story is Osceola County, out of Florida, Texas. 2 Florida parents are behind bars today on murder, abuse, and neglect. Son, who died this week after spending more than a month on life support. Osceola County Sheriff Marcus Lopez alleged during a Wednesday press conference that Larry Rhodes, 22, and his girlfriend, 25-year-old Bianca Blaze, repeatedly beat this young son after catching the boy drinking out of the toilet of their Christmas hotel room. Lopez said that Blaze called 911 back on July 5th and allegedly said her son had drowned while drinking toilet water. When officers arrived, the unconscious boy's head was in the toilet and he had no pulse. The child was rushed to the nearest hospital, which determined that he was suffering from a brain bleed and lacerated liver. The sheriff told reporters that the couple's other 5 children, who also had bruises on their bodies, one of the sons had a hemorrhage in the left eye. Several of the other children were interviewed by police. According to investigators, 2 said their parents beat their 6-year-old brother with closed fists after they saw his head in the toilet. In July, Ross and Blaze were arrested and charged with neglect and child abuse. When the son died earlier this week, Lopez added the murder charge. The boy's name was not released. Speaking to reporters and flanked by detectives, Lopez called the situation one of the worst child abuse cases any of us up here have seen. Lopez speculated that the deceased boy was likely trying to drink from the toilet for survival. During the press conference, Lopez showed pictures of the couple's hotel room, which was full of items and trash. He admitted she mods children with and forced them to stand in the corner and perform exercises. It was unclear if they had obtained money. Unavailable. Okay. There's a lot of red flags on the play. Number 1, prior to the 6-year-old son, they have 5 other children, which makes 6 altogether. Secondly, to ask yourself, why was that a hotel room to begin with? A, was they evicted? B, was they homeless? So let's come in. These children not being and you're not watching your children and bad things happen. My thing is, I feel like for children tells me that they must have not been fed or drank over a period of time. And dehydrated, probably malnourished, abused. 22. Father is 22 years old. And the mother is 25 years old. Both is young. And why would you have them that many children at a young age? Knowing you couldn't take care of your children. You have to ask yourself also, when the children were being abused by these people, these monsters, we're supposed to love them, who were the mothers and fathers. My theory would be, did anyone hear the commotion, the whoopings going on next door in a hotel, neighbors, or you had to hear children crying from being abused. So something will add up. Should have had children. Again, we have parents using the children to use for the benefits of the children. This is benefits. It's a scary place out here. You have a lot of parents out here who have children and not taking care of responsibilities. That's a problem. The parent, you should have the obligation to take care of your financial business. Your children, take care of what needs to be done in the household. Using your children, that's not cool, And they're gonna have to answer in court for what they did, And and for all your children to have abusers and all that, it's something that these children will have to be abused at the end of the day. Like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification on, hit the thumbs up and the bell. To the third step. I'm here to expose Georgia takes an L. Accused Georgia mother arrested at a funeral home for allegedly with a woman burning her children and killing their children. We talk about how bad better than a man if you also out here killing your children. What's better? I'll wait. Nothing makes you bad if you are here committing heinous crimes against your children. It's just, it makes police placed a judge under second-degree murder for allegedly drowning her 7-month-old daughter. People Authorities took Shaquilla Reeser in custody at Decatur Funeral Home. Officials said until the Constitution, Reeser left her unsupervised and went for 5 minutes, according to the warrant. The child was transported to the hospital but did not survive, according to the sheriff's office. Mr. 29-year-old daughters, Jenny Small, passed away on August 4th, according to capture it. Church and Decatur reports. Nobody said known if she has retained legal representation according to people. Reeser has not appeared in court or entered a plea to her charges. Police have not publicly addressed a possible motive for the infant's death. State. A person is charged with murder in the second degree that caused the death of a child through second-degree cruelty to children, which is based on the CDC between the age of 1 to 14. I'm at 1 to 4, sorry. Have a high rate, usually in swimming. Fatal drowning is the second leading cause of death, follow motor vehicle crashes for children ages 1 through 4. The CDC report states that for infants under the age of 1 year old, 2/3 of all drownings occurred in bathtubs. This is the second person who left their child in the bathtub and went to sleep or went to minutes. It takes 1 minute for something bad to happen to your children. You can't leave infants in a bathtub alone and walk away for periods of time and think that nothing's bad gonna happen, because it will. It takes 1 second. Just takes 1 second, and you could be charged with murder. Right? Got this. If a man, and I'm talking to a black man, would have did the same thing that she did, do you think he would have been charged with second-degree murder caused by negligence? He would have been charged with first-degree murder caused by negligence. What I said is, gets a smack on the wrist, same man. It depends. Is her until she was done. Give her child the bath, got her dressed, dried, clothes, pajamas. Then she could have went and did what she had to do for the 5 minutes. Now, basically a newborn in a tub. It's think twice before we do. If she thought twice before would have been alive today, she would have been today. It's one time. All the time. Think about that. Think about your actions. Because your actions have consequences. Everybody's actions have consequences. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. On to our next story. New Orleans takes an L. My children are dead. Mother posted video online after allegedly stabbing her 2 children, killing her 4-year-old daughter. A mother was arrested after stabbing 2 of her children Sunday morning, killing her 4-year-old daughter and sending her 2-year-old son to the hospital in critical condition. According to WWL-TV, the children were stabbed around 11 in the Florida area. Read that. According to WWL-TV, the children were stabbed around 11:15 in the Florida area of New Orleans on Law Street. The children were taken to a hospital where the girl, identified as Paris Roberts, died. Police found the 31-year-old Jane had something. That's second-degree murder, attempted and second-degree cruelty to a juvenile. Had the school have posted a new posted a now deleted video on social media where the woman had blood dripping down her chest, saying, "I'm done. My children are dead. I'm done. I'm done with life." During the video, the silence all remains for of 10. The mother and the father were in a legal battle over the custody of the children. Records said Robert sued the mother, claiming she was not suitable for providing a healthy environment for the kids. This story reminds me of the story where the father killed his children over his dispute with custody with the mother. I don't understand why people are killing their children when the children are innocent and has nothing to do with what's going on with you and the children's father. Now, according to court's record, it was all over court. This happened all over a custody battle. This is the second person told children. The difference is, in Oklahoma, a father killed his children than himself. In New Orleans, a mother killed her 4-year-old daughter and injured two other children. You know, your mother and father is here to protect you, yet they're inflicting pain and injury for their children. I don't understand for the life of me why people have children. If you could take care of your responsibility as a suitable adult, then you shouldn't have children. Plain and simple. Like, hit the bell, turn on notification. Tell me what you think about this story down below. Saturday. Texan Air. A statistic and tragic. Allegedly starved and tortured, especially shot to death. A 42-year-old behind bars for allegedly starving and torturing a juvenile suspect. Shannon was taken into custody last week and charged with one count each of charges of 15-year-old Timothy court the law and crime show. A press release from the North Shores Police Department. Officers responded to an emergency call staff at a home located in the 4000 block of Marshall Road. Upon arriving, the body of a teenage male identified as Ferguson, the boy was pronounced dead on the scene. The victim appeared to be extremely malnourished and there was evidence of abuse. Police wrote the situation, but Bender appeared Friday for an arraignment where prosecutors said that death was the direct result of corporal punishment at the hands of his Mesquite County Assistant Prosecutor told Grand Rapids NBC official Wood TV that Timothy's death was the most disturbing case he has seen in his career. I have been at this job for over 20 years, Helson said. The thing that walked through the door on a day in and day out basis are horrific and traumatic, but I can safely say that within my career, this is probably one of the more sadistic and tragic events that I've ever seen and witnessed and been a part of. Matt Roberts, chief attorney for office, provided more details for proceeding. Roberts Bender will punish Timothy by food for a long period of time, feeding him hot sauce soaked bread, putting hot sauce directly on his throat, and forcing him to take ice baths. On Timothy's remains, and put that the body cause was a combination of malnourishment and hypothermia. The investigation subsequently revealed that Vander Ark had a number of punishments that frankly were just beyond the pale in terms of what should be administered to a child. Roberts told the court, according to a report from the website, Notably, the denial of food to the child nothing but bread and bread soap, hot sauce, and hot sauce unless the child in an ice bath. Then forced Timothy into an ice bath for his death. Health told local news stations Timothy lived with incapacity or mentally incapacity, and noted that the boy was homeschooled. Told Steve Maria she was a law clerk at Noriega County Circuit Court. She also stated that she had graduated from law school and passed the bar exam. Though she had not obtained her license to practice law, because her husband reportedly suffered a stroke, Judge Hopes ordered Vander Ark to be held without bond. Vander attorney, public defender, Brad Johnson told Wood TV that he disagreed with the ruling despite the nature of the allegations against his client. The judge ruling was probably correct. Investigation done in Oklahoma after 2009 and 2012 also resulted in a recommendation to terminate vendors of rights that that television station reported while questioning why the alleged victim was even under the defendant's care to begin with. Further noted that Vander Ark agreed to relinquish custody on July the 21st. Michigan courts records show Muskegon County Sheriff's Office. Number one, the victim continues to abuse a child who against the abuse that was brought upon him is sad. It makes so hot sauce and on his throat. All I know is you're gonna have that court, and I hope you get convicted, and you're gonna for the rest of your life for what you did. It was heinous. You had an opportunity as a parent to protect your child well-being. You violated your child in a worse way. You abused your child and took the power of your child out of the caring earth. You know, I don't understand why you thought it was okay to abuse a child who couldn't defend himself, who couldn't do, who couldn't, you know, walk away from the situation. I'm going to say this. There's a lot of parents who do not have children because you're not doing the child a deed by killing a child. You're making yourself look like a stupid mother for having a child. Now, for the person who lay down with you and help you create the child, you know, you gotta understand this. This child was abused every day. Because mind you, if this child was being abused 24/7, what that tells you? That tells you that she did not care about this child. She did not care about this child's safety. She did not care about this child's feelings, emotions, none of that. This woman needs life without the possibility of parole. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Turn notifications. Let me get my charger. I'm sorry. I'm back. We on to our next story. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on our 7th out of 8 story. I have an update. One of the stories that I covered a couple days ago. It was, you might remember the story. It was really a man, which he was killed in a land outside of the outside. She was in the car. Bullet. The update is this is a good update that has just found out. Accused of killing 11-year-old Kennedy Maxey near Marhead 2020 has been found guilty on all counts by a Fulton County jury. Daquan Reed is his name, was reportedly upset after he was robbed after leaving 6 Fifth Avenue at Phipps Plaza and fired his gun in a senseless act of rage. A bullet went through the car Kennedy was traveling with her aunt on December 21st, 2020, and hit her in the back of the head. She was rushed to the hospital and died days later. Reed was found guilty of felony murder, aggravated assault, criminal damage, possession of weapon, of a felony, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. He was already a convicted felon. Correct. The defendant, like too many people today, choose to act out through lost her life on a shopping trip with her mother and aunt just a few days before Christmas 2020. South Fulton County District Attorney Willis. Well, nothing we can do. Well, nothing we do can do this murder. The Chief Justice for Kennedy and her family. We hope that this conviction some Kennedy's family and the community that was hurt by this terrible senseless tragedy. Sentencing will take place at 9 a.m. on August 29th.
While shopping, the man who shot Maxie has been found guilty of all charges. Following this emotional verdict for Kitty's family.
And is the key word there, Sean. This story last Friday, it wrapped up today, but let me backtrack to December 2020. The Maxey family, they were leaving the mall here in Atlanta when gunshots rang out and a bullet found the back of the head of Kitty. Today, a jury found Daquan Reed guilty on all charges. The jury find this guilty. Tears pouring from the eyes of Mariah Maxey. The jury read out the verdict. It's been nearly 2 years since her 7-year-old daughter Kennedy was hit by a bullet after Christmas shopping outside Lee Square.
Mommy, put this done. In my car, I don't know how it happened.
The jury found Daquan Reed guilty on all 8 counts, including felony murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The prosecutor said Reed had his gun in an after Fifth Avenue and Phipps Plaza.
I can't show get it up and I was calling her name.
Reed's attorney argued there was no physical evidence that could prove any guilt against Reed. The jury found otherwise. Afterwards, Fulton County District Attorney Vonnie Willis said, while the verdict cannot undo his verdict, guilt brings justice to the adding to defend like too many people in society to act out his anger through gun violence. And today, the judge in this case set a sentencing date for August 29th. Live tonight in Atlanta, Patrick Quinn, CBS 46 News.
Okay. One thing they point out was correct. And everybody do this. We get so mad that you pull out a gun, shoot. If nothing can happen when you put out that gun and you shoot, you a life sentence. And I'm gonna tell you why. Bullets don't have a name. So when you shoot up a gun in a person, an innocent person, whether it's a child, an adult, or a person dies, that's murder. Whether you accident or not. You had no right, first of all, he had no right shooting off a gun in the middle of a mall. Anyways, in the middle of a mall parking lot. And thinking that was somebody, because it did. And that killed, murdered, because of your negligence, because of your anger, because of your emotions. And I'm found guilty. Super glad. I'm going to tell people this, and I'm telling you. And I'm speaking to juveniles. They 16, 15, 14, 18. But I think that you could just walk away. Be charged. You can still be charged as an adult. So be careful when you are committing crimes. Because it could come back on you. Now, to be Mariah Maxey, which is the mother of Kennedy Maxey. So to Mariah Maxey, the Atlanta community, upset about this because again we have an innocent child who was in the vehicle with her aunt and mother, Christmas shopping of 2020, and ends up getting shot by a live bullet in the back of her head and died days after in the hospital, a couple days later in the hospital. I want to say this. Justice was finally served.
Oh, he brought that shit up. They keep bringing that shit up again.
Yeah, whatever you told Jada.
Which is, yeah.
I want to say this. Justice is finally served. To Kennedy Maxey, the victim, who was only 7 years old and was life cut short because of a madman. I want to say this. You will never be forgotten. Your legacy will always live on. I want to say this. You are honored by so many people. Kennedy Maxey could have grown up and became something amazing in life. But it took a madman to get in his feelings and kill a child. The story is devastating, and what hurts me the most was seeing the mother testifying. Actually, I didn't watch that, but to see it on YouTube and her breaking down crying. You don't know how it truly feels when you lose a child. You don't know the devastation, the pain, the agony, the emotion that a person feels. A mother lost her 7-year-old precious daughter due to the hands of a man who cared about himself and not public safety, who cared about himself and not the general public, who cared about himself and not the public, who cared about himself and everybody around him, who thought it was the right thing to do was shoot off a gun. Into the jail system, to the courts all around the world. Listen up. Quit letting these thugs get out of prison. Early. Because when you let a thug get out of prison early, he's gonna go right back and do his crime all over again. He's not going to change overnight. He's not going to change 2 to 3 days later. He's going to continue shooting, and innocent people are going to pay for his actions. Kennedy should be alive today. You gotta start holding people responsible. You commit heinous crimes, you're gonna do the time. You commit a felony, that's your ass. You commit a burglary, that's your ass. You commit arson, that's your ass. And let's be real for a second. He's convicted. He's gonna do some time in prison for what he did. To the thugs who think that because they kill somebody and they get to prison, they think that their homies will come and visit them. Your homies actually come visit you. But that's what I'm saying. When you commit a crime, your friend is not going to be with you. He's not going to come visit you. He's not going to come see you behind bars. Why? Because after a while, they're going to give up on you. And let me say this to the black community. We are the most hated people. And I'm going to tell you why we're the most hated people. Because the reason we are the most hated people is because we are the ones out here who are committing more crimes than a little bit. We're shooting people, in cars, robbing people, throwing things at people. Us. We gotta know right from wrong here. And what's devastating is that we should have the care in the world. We should care about each other. We should know right from wrong. This is a thug. Remember, he's already a convicted felon. That would have to ask you, where the hell he get a gun from? Where the hell this nigga get a gun from? We gotta get the guns off the streets. It's time to get the assault weapons, the Glocks, the ghost guns period off the street. Again, the mayor of Atlanta. After this tragedy, after this 7-year-old child was killed, there should have been more, right? There should have been more than outcries. There should have been a law where certain guns should be off the streets. There should be a law. If you get caught with, if a convicted felon get caught with a gun, automatic, a life sentence. I want before I end this story here, I want to say once again, RIP. Rest easy to Kennedy Maxey. You will always be my thoughts, my heart, prayers, You didn't deserve that at all. You were an innocent child who, you know, the max. You deserve the rest of your life in prison. Here, right there is baby Kennedy Maxie. Please put prayer hands in the comment section and hearts in the comment section and hashtag justice for Kennedy and hashtag justice have been served. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop a brand new video. We are to our last story 8 out of 8. Well-known rapper is robbed at gunpoint, kidnapped, and shot near his Atlanta brewery. Atlanta again takes an L. Hip-hop artist Fish Scales is recovering after he was kidnapped outside a brewery he owns in Atlanta and subsequently shot. Representatives from the rapper confirmed Thursday. In response to the unfortunate incident on the evening of August 17th at Nantucket Brewery, the members of Nappy Roots and the Nantucket Brewery team are announcing that rapper Scales Melvin Adams is in stable condition following an armed robbery and gunshot wound. Rhythm Communications said in a press release provided to Fox News Digital. Atlanta police reported that they responded to a robbery call at about 11 p.m. on Wednesday and found a 42-year-old male victim who said he was a patron of at Nantucket Brewery. He recounted to police that he had the brewery owner were robbed at gunpoint by two men as they walked to the establishment parking garage. The man explained to police that he fled on foot during the incident, but the brewery's owner, identified as Melvin Adams, was kidnapped. Adams is better known as Fish Scales for the Grammy-nominated group Nappy Roots. The brewery is collectively owned by members of the hip-hop group. Adams was reportedly beaten and forced into his own vehicle as the suspects drove him to a neighborhood town of Hapeville. He tried to flee the suspects once they arrived in Hopeville, but was shot in the leg, according to police. Once he had an opportunity, he tried to make a run for it, Captain Christian Hunt said, according to Fox 5. What we learned is the suspects grabbed him, and then when he got shot, his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. The suspects fled after the shooting.
What's going on here in Atlanta is pervasive. Shootings are actually up 165% since 2019. The same period for murders, it's 140%. The Atlanta police are very busy right now. They're under-resourced. They're understaffed. We love our Atlanta police, but the leadership of the Atlanta Police Department,
Okay, I'm gonna get my commentary. Crimes are up high in Atlanta. And I'm gonna tell you why. Atlanta is one of the places where you have a lot of people who's doing time who gets out and commit the same crime over again. That's why. Plus, Atlanta is a rap culture area. A lot of gangs. You have rappers who live in Atlanta who own guns. You have a lot of reason why there's a lot of crime that happen in Atlanta. Now, I'm not saying this is name. Melvin Adams, aka Fish Scales. I'm not saying to push this to the side real fast. In general, rappers, and you gotta be careful as a rapper. It goes from male rap and female rappers. You gotta be careful running an establishment without proper security. That's number one. But number two, a lot of rappers do this. They'll drop their location to random people. They'll string by, chill out with them. They'll leave and get the information to the next person. All I'm saying, you gotta be careful where you at in certain places. Because in certain places, crime rates are up high. You gotta know your surroundings. You gotta be well aware of your surroundings. And you know, how can you kidnap somebody and put them in their own vehicle? This is how you know the thug who did this, the thugs, because it was two people, supposedly, are not skilled robbers. If you gotta rob somebody and then put them in their vehicle, what type of robbing are you doing? Because sure is not a good one. Just saying. To the thugs out here who think that you could just rob people, you're not a thug. You're trying to act hard, act tough. You ain't. As soon as you hit the cell block, as soon as you get to jail, that thug mentality is done. You ain't no thug no more. But you act hard when you in the streets. You act hard when you're in front of your homies. You act hard when you're in front of your associates. You can't act hard in jail. It's just not it. I pray and hope that the police catch these two individuals that are considered armed and dangerous. If you can go and rob somebody out of their business and put them in their car, I don't know how dangerous you call that. Super dangerous. All I'm saying is, if you have to protect yourself, carry a permitted weapon, because you got a lot of people who will try to test you, rob you, shoot at you, all that. So, especially if you're a successful rapper or businessman, gotta be careful in the streets, because people will try to knock you down and try to take what is not theirs that is yours. So, gotta be careful. Got a lot of rappers who been killed in the hands of men who are so jealous because they don't have what the next person got. So they'll take advantage and try to kill or try to injure the next successful person. Gotta be careful in Atlanta. It's a hard place, especially in the industry. It's a hard place. So gotta be careful. Like, comment, subscribe, share, turn notification, turn your bells. Um, Subscribe to my channels. I have 8 subscribers. Get my subscribers up. Give me at least 25 likes, 25 views. Let's get the viewers up. I know you can do it. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.